Okay, again, Assalamualaikum. Jumpa lagi. Right? Okay, apa yang kita buat hari ini? What we going to do? Okay, hari ini we going to continue with our discussion in chapter. We're going to start to finish chapter 3 first. Then after that we're going for chapter 4. Okay. Before that, is there any question yang nak tanya? If you want anything that you want to ask, do it now.
Doktor,
Ya, Muhammad.
saya nak tanya, boleh tak kalau saya ambil macam untuk ethical issue untuk assignment tu, saya ambil satu jabatan kerajaan, saya nak ceritakan ethical issue yang berlaku kat jabatan kerajaan tu.
Okey, kalau je buat tu dia telah jadi satu case tadi. Nampak? Dia different dia. Kan? Kalau you specific macam you ambil satu jabatan kerajaan kan. That is what
Okay.
your punya idea kan. Nak ambil
Okay.
dia on jabatan kerajaan, satu jabatan kerajaan. Dia dah menjadi satu case tadi. Case tadi dia cerita lain sikit. Cuma you boleh ambil itu jabatan kerajaan tu sebagai contoh boleh.
Okay.
You tak boleh letakkan satu the subject matter on that jabatan tu. You punya isu dia tu atas jabatan tu. Otherwise you going to have to bukan apa? You akan ada masalah nak cari materials. Kan? Material jabatan tu. You kena bagi evidence tentang jabatan tu. Then it going to be hard time lah. Kan?
Okay.
Kalau kita ambil satu topik yang general, kan? Yang dekat kita, tapi you letakkan depa tu as example. Kan? Boleh lah.
Okay.
So that you punya material lah, supporting material nanti you akan dapat you buka luas sikit lah untuk you kan. Not as I mentioned itu, bila cakap supporting material, it's not necessary katalah isu tu di Malaysia, right? Tetapi supporting material tu might not di Malaysia tak ada banyak. Dia ada di overseas, kata contoh luar kan, journal dan sebagainya. Tak ada journal di Malaysia about that. So, tapi you ada material lain yang di luar, journal-journal di luar sana, kan? So, yang publish di Amerika, di Europe dan sebagainya, you ambil tu sebagai you punya writing materials, kan?
Okay.
Tapi kalau you ambil tadi, then you have the problem of tadi lah. Clear tak? Different ya?
Clear. Awal-awalnya saya ingat saya nak ambil macam sebab macam ada case macam saya ada baca sebelum-sebelum ni macam jabatan immigration.
Dia ada kes dia, tapi itu tadilah you nak tulis dalam 15 muka tu kan, a bit difficult.
Okey.
Pasal you tak ada supporting. You kena kita panggil tu case study. Case study mana you fokus betul-betul atas tu. You nak tulis data apa pun cakap tentang data that so called jabatan tadi. And then it's going to be hard time lah. You apa? No?
Okey,
Baik,
baik.
kita ambil yang general and you might highlight this jabatan kan dalam you punya writing.
Okey.
Boleh?
Okey, boleh.
Alright. Okay?
Terima kasih, Doktor.
Alright, sure. Ada lagi soalan?
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes, shoot.
Doctor, what is the difference between the executive summary and case summary?
Executive summary is overall punya summary.
Oral. Okay. But
Understand?
organization is it?
Sampai habis, sampai conclusion, sampai part 4, part 5. That is macam abstract lah. You know abstract? Dekat journal ada abstract
okay.
kan? You baca the whole thing, you know what is about that journal, right? Everything.
Okay.
But on the case study, on the summary, on the case study, on itself, case itself, itu saja.
Okay. Understand.
Thank
you, Doctor.
Sorry, on the issue, on the issue tu, on that issue only. Summary on the issue only.
Alright.
Clear?
Thank you, Doctor.
Boleh lah? Visha Lini.
Yes, Doctor.
Clear? Good.
Clear.
Alright. Any more question? Any more questions? Okay, if none, tak apa. You can leave it at until at the end of kita punya class, right? Then you can ask the question again. Similarly, this attendance punya scan, saya akan buka balik. I will open it back before we stop our class and end of our class. Sekarang saya stop di sini. Stop sharing of this attendance. So I will share with you the supposed to be chapter 3 first. Okay, can you see chapter 3?
No, Doctor.
Can or not?
Cannot.
Cannot?
Yeah, cannot.
Okay. Alright, tak apa. I close this one first. Ting, 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 ting. Sudah nampak tak? Tak.
Belum lagi.
Belum lagi. Oh, tak masalah. Chapter 4. That's correct.
Okey, dah nampak dah.
Ini chapter 4 tak? So kita go chapter 3 first. Right? Kita complete
Okay.
chapter 3 first. So I close this one first. Okay. This one chapter 3. So kita buka lagi. Nampak chapter 3?
Nampak.
Nampak. Alright. Itu kita I think we have done until as kita discuss itu type of chapter 3 talking about economic system, right? And we identified there are 4 type of economy system, right? Traditional, command, market economy, and the last one is mixed economy, right? And of course, I think this one quite clear, right? And of course, the following slides talking about the ideas, right? For example, Locke, how he looked on pre-market or market economy. Adam Smith looking same thing, right? Ricardo, Spencer, and Darwin, right? All of these people, all these thinkers or scholars, we can say in general, they agree that this is the best model, right? This is the best model that should be applied in a business. But SBC, these scholars, their their ideas on their time, in their time, in their period of time, right? As I said, most of them is in 17th century, 18th century, and 19th century. So definitely, what they've seen is maybe not yet what we're having right now, right? The complexity of the system, complexity of what we call the market system itself, right? As I said, pre-market, that kind of thing. So it create a lot of things. So this is what they have not seen at that time. We have to what we call, in other words, kita kena faham. When you look on the people criticize them, right? Criticize their ideas. So of course, for them at the time, this is what they have seen. And as I said, on this slide, and on this what we call the ideas of market economy, so-called kita panggil free market, I think all of them, I think engineers agree, right? This is so-called is the best market. Only they have some of them different idea. For example, you can meet Darwin's, for example, Darwin and Spencer, right? Both of them is agree and look on the positive side of what we call this model. But the idea is for them is for this market only the big people, and a big company, right? The fittest should be there in the market, not all those small company, that kind of thing. So this is some of the differences between what, because some of the idea Adam Smith and Ricardo, Spencer, Hayek, and tapi overall agree this is the best model. Okay, I think we have done that. I think only except I said only one guy, right, and really not, and the outcome of this what we call this market, it create another system yang kita panggil that what we call capitalist system, right? This is something, this is a person who really against, right? Memang menentang betul-betul of free market because of the outcome dia tadi is this one, tentang capitalist system. Man, it create another system, what so-called capitalist system. From Karl Marx, capitalist system is a bad things, a bad system. In other words, a bad system that give now the impact, so much of negative impacts to the workers, especially if we're looking on the side of workers, right? Nothing much that we gain as workers on this system and to society itself. But society pun sama, right? Because we know very much on society, capitalist system, it creates so-called social class. Yeah, it creates a social class, meaning that no equality. Kita belajar itu for the basic and for the rest. Like Locke, Locke punya idea to be what we call to subscribe to the system of what we call free market. All of us must be free and equal. Free and equal. But at the end, when we have this system, it don't create that kind of what we call character on that system. The capitalist system actually create differences, inequality, tidak kesamaan. We might be free, but there is no equality because capitalist system create, as I said just now, on classes, on society, talking about classes. Talking on business itself, on what we call on the organization itself, the same thing. It create classes among the workers. We have the top management, middle management, lower management, ordinary workers. And kita akan tengoklah what are the things that the outcome from this, what so-called free market, and what is actually the capitalist system is all about. All right. Okay. Karl Marx, dia kata criticize on market and free trade. When we're talking about free market and free trade ni sama saja. Right? The only different, free trade talking about doing business with other country. So the rate is not much different. So when I said free market, actually I also refer to same thing, refer to the free trade pun ada. In the context of free trade pun sama. Because not much different. And the characteristic of free market and free trade, not much different. The only difference cuma tadi lah. When we talk about free trade, talking about doing business in other country. That is the thing, cross the border. Right. If you look into the Kasma punya ideas of, how he criticized, how he looked on the capitalist system, because for him, dia kata tadi, capitalist system offer only two source of income. Right. The income yang kita kerja ke, yang kita dapat cuma ada dua saja income. Nothing else. The first one, dia kata sell of our own labor. Right. We get the income from selling our labor. Right. We sell our labor. Maknanya kita kerja, kita sell our tenaga lah kan. Our effort, our labor, and the outcome from selling our labor, right? Using our labor, our brain, our ideas, the end product of what we are, contribute jadi is not ours. Ini dia kata. Kita don't get, kita semua dapat, kita jual saja. Kita punya ni. Okay, the second one dia kata ni, ownership of the means of production, right? Ownership of the means of production, such as building, machinery, land, and raw materials. All this is not ours. Right? Kita tahu, bila kita kerja, the building itu not ours. And factory, the factory is not ours. Right? The land is not ours. It belongs to a few people. Right? Belong to a few people. So this is, kita tak dapat apa-apa. Kita cuma sell our body. And dia kata sini, capitalism and private property system create alienation among workers. Having this system, capitalist system and private property system tadi, it creates kita punya, yang kita panggil alienation. Alienation meaning that separation of workers. Separation of workers. Kita tengok nanti. What is actually the meaning of alienation? So Karl Marx is well known on this idea, on alienation of workers, and another one is this word, this immiseration. Immiserations of workers. Ini kalau you type about Karl Marx, these two will appear. Immiseration of workers. Satu lagi, the alienation of workers. Everybody know. These two words actually refer to the ideas of Karl Marx. The ideas of Karl Marx. Okay, kita pergi one by one lah. Now kita start dengan the alienation of workers first. What is the meaning of alienation of workers or Marx on alienation? Okay, in capitalism, as I said, capitalist system, workers become alienated when they lose control of their own life. When we work with others, right? Actually, we lose everything, and we lose with our life activities lah, bukan hilang semua. We lose with our life activities and the ability to fulfill the truth of our needs. Sebagai manusia, of course, we have our needs, and beside the needs of these few people. So when we work dalam capitalist system, all our needs tadi, semua yang kita buat tadi, for the needs to fulfill the needs of these few people, not to fulfill of our need. So we lose all this activity yang kita buat tadi, nanti you kerja, the effort that you put, the mind that you put on that work, the strength apa saja, the labor you put on that all is, the end is will go to the few people, the owners of that business. Kita tak ada apa. So as human, of course, kita tahu kita ada our own needs, keperluan kita sendiri. So that's why dia kata capitalist system we create this kind of what we call situation. Capitalism dia kata alienate workers from their own productive work. What you've been doing atau what you've done, itu tadi, the product of their work, how much you put an effort of to that work, and the outcome from that effort and that produce even the product, kata tadi, the product of that work, their relationship with each other, kita dengan kita yang sole worker, or our own relationship is gone. Tak ada. Tak ada mana nak ada separation of that. Kita tahu lah macam kita kerja dengan di furniture factory, right? Furniture factory. The product of furniture itself, kita put our effort, our ideas, that kind of thing. At the end, product yang kita from our own effort, that kind of thing, kita dapat that product, the end product tadi is not belong to us, belong to the owner. And these people definitely they are going for to maximize their benefit. So this is what happened in this capitalist system. Alienation also occur when the value of rating is seen in terms of its market price. Everything have a price. Dalam capitalist system, everything have a price. Nothing free. Even plain water pun kita pergi ke kedai, you want to drink plain water, you have to pay for plain water, right? In fact, plain water tu patutnya you should get it free. So this is how it works. And right now, pun kita dalam we are now on a free market, and the system that we have, that we subscribe, is capitalist system, and this is the thing that is now we are facing a discovery. So kita nak kata class mark is not kita ready, dia punya idea is you cannot pakai ke, you cannot use this, but your idea ke, we have to question back, right? Maybe some truth on that, ada some truth of that. And class mark lihat on private property, right? And capitalist system, one thing about that, we can own our own, we can own the private the property. But the problem is how to own that. That is the thing. Because what we are seeing right now, owning the property is, is privilege of the few. Privilege of the few. Bukan semua. The masses masih lagi belum dapat own the property. Privilege of the few. Private ownership of the mean of production is the source of worker loss control. Private ownership tadi. Overwork, product, relationship, and sell. The private ownership tadi lah yang kita menghalang kita that as what we call the main, orang kata point that separate us from the rest. Because ownership tadi, ownership of the private ownership tadi, as I said, if kalah, owned by that 1 or 2 person, and kalau syarikat maybe the shareholder, owned by the shareholder. How about the workers, the rest? We don't own that. And that is the result dia kata tadi, is the source, sumber, punca, that we lost control of overwork. Because we don't own. We don't own the property. We don't own the resources. It's not ours. Owned by a few people. So it start from there, data. It start from we don't own. Kita bukan ada orang kata tadi ada hak on that property, and it's not ours. That is the source, puncanya. And we lost everything. That is how makhluk X dia punya capitalist system punya system. Productive property should serve the needs of all and should not be privately owned, but owned by everyone. Productive properties juga have been formed, macam kita tadi lah, when you do something, you work, you produce something, it should be actually owned by everyone. But in the capitalism, that is not the idea, that is not the thing, right? Kita realize that what we produce, what is owned by, again, few tadi kata, should not be privately owned, must be owned. Ikut Kasmak, everybody put all the effort, put all your labor into, it should be shared by equally to everyone. But it's not, the true picture bukan macam tu lah. The true picture is owned by the few. Okay. So, inilah yang kata tentang the only guys yang kata looking on the rest of the scholars, Dia yang a bit different looking on the free market. Free market for him is in other words, senang kata, it's no good. It's bad idea to have this kind of system. The method of society used to produce its good determine how the society organize its workers. It work. The method society used to produce its good determine how the society organize its workers. Okay, on the metabolism lah, how kita society lah yang actually yang decides, yang determines. Kita ada kita ada top management, orang kata middle management, otherwise, and there won't be any kind of this system lah, because kita agree, kita agree that it should be like that, and it should be classes, ada classes, and in organization, even in society, ada classes. Okay. The way society organize its workers determine its social classes. Nampak? The way society organize its workers determine the social classes. Kita adalah social workers tadi lah. Ada orang atas, ada orang tengah, ada orang bawah. Orang kaya, orang kurang kaya, middle class, low class. So this is how we organize the workers. The workers tadi dia spread to the society lah. Dalam tempat kerja pun kita ada create this kind of situation, classes. Dalam tempat kerja pun kita ada create classes. Orang top management, middle management, and of course the supporting staff. A society ruling social class controls society, government, and ideology, and uses this to advance its own interests and control the working class. And society ruling social class controls society, government. The top people, this group of people yang control. Jadi kita ada create this few group people, few what we call the top people, the society, kalau tengok orang society punya, ada classes, top classes is those who are powerful guys, kita panggil group of rich men, that kind of thing. So, dia pada kuasa lah, and they have power, they have the ability to control even the government. Kalau kita tengok how the government run, sometimes it's controlled by these few people. If you go to kita maybe tak obvious sangat. Kalau you go to US, for example, very clear. Then that big businesses control government, right? They determine the policy, how it going. Contohnya the businessnya policy, economy policy, right? It very much influenced by this, big company. That's why sana is legal. We call it lobbyists. It's legal to have an office. Kalau you pergi Washington, ada tempat Washington, tempat the government punya ni lah. Macam kita di KL lah, Putrajaya. So kita boleh tengok satu area, satu building to occupy, dia punya office to occupy by lobbyists. So you kerja maybe you kerja dengan kata contohnya big company, they hired you to be a lobbyist. So kerja you hanya is to influence the government on their policy, on that kind of thing. That's why kita tanya kenapa, those industry, weapon industry in the America, right, is so difficult. Everybody semua, how many presidents realize that, bila everyone have the right to own weapons, right? That's why the rate of people die from the weapons very high. So the only way dia kata kalau nak make sure that this not going to happen again, bunuh, mesa, tembak sana, tembak sini, shoot here, shoot there, we should control this industry, weapon industry. Tapi they have very strong lobbyists. Weapon industry di Amerika satu industry yang very strong, everybody know, very strong on what we call so-called lobbyists tadi. They are a big office dekat Washington, right? Taking care of their industry. Sama juga in the rest. So these few people saja that control kita semua, the masses yang ramai tadi. Because they have their own interest. And from that, they boleh control workers. Because they have their own interest. Of course lah, kita cakap interest dia ada, kita is quite clear lah to maximize the benefit from the business. Okey, dari segi mana saya kata tadi lah, kan? Satu statement yang daripada Karl Marx tadi, alienation of workers. Ini dia cakap tentang immiseration of the workers. The word immiseration is, dalam bahasa Malaysia kita kata kesusahan lah, miserable, kan? Kesusahan daripada pekerja, kan? Dalam sistem kapitalis tadi lah. Apa dia? Dia kata combined effect of increased concentration, increased concentration, cyclic crisis, ini antara rising unemployment and declining relative compensation, kan? So this ada antara yang dalam capitalist system we create this kind of situation. Kita ambil contoh satu cukup lah, kan? Cyclic crisis, kan? Cyclic crisis macam contohnya recession, kan? Inflation. Ini kita panggil cyclic. Dia tak pergi habis, kan? Few years it come back, and after a while kita deal with that depression. Okay, after few years come back, same thing. So it is the result of tadi lah on that system, capitalist system. And siapa yang merana? Yang call the workers, unemployment, lay off, that kind of thing. So ini yang berlaku sekarang. Apa yang dia predict tu, yang apa dia cakap tu, sekarang ni kita nampak lah the truth of that, right? Tentang especially the lay off of the workers, high rate of unemployment, and bila berlakunya depression, inflation. So it is the thing. Okay, because kita ambil contoh, factory owners replace workers with machine, which create unemployment. So to maximize what we call profit, and in the capital on this system, definitely lah, machine is much better, right? Cuma beli machine and it can replace human being. So replacement of women definitely employment lay off, unemployment rate high, because kita punya tenaga be replaced by the machine, that kind of thing, kan? So this thing something yang kita tadi lah, mass production in the hand of the few, kan? Mass production in the hand of few. So as I said, kita belajar nanti chapter 4, in the hand of what we call monopoly firm, in the hand of oligopoly firm, right? They be able to produce mass product, and definitely they akan create a surplus. And so critical one of the criteria of depression is when we have surplus, and we have the surplus. So it will create tadi lah, keadaan yang ekonomi fall under depression. Banyak barang, tak ada pembeli. Not enough people have no power, buying power tak ada. So it create a depression. The only solution is, ini the last one, ini yang kita tengok the outcome from the idea of go against on free market tadi. Kita on capitalist system tadi. Capitalist system ni baru lama. Bila kita cakap dah free market itself, it create ni. So dalam sistem zaman 17th century, 18th century, siapa yang control? Who have the asset? Who have the semua tadi lah, tanah, kan? Kalau ada kelang, siapa ada kelang? Siapa ada farm? Big farm, kan? The rest macam masses, rakyat biasa tak ada apa, dia own nothing. Yang own adalah at that time macam kita ada raja-raja, Europe, UK, Europe, semua masa that time is ruled by king and queen, royal, orang raja-raja. So the ideas of to get rid of people control kita tadi, masses, revolutions lah. And that what happened in Russia, what happened in UK, what happened in France, dan sebagainya. Get rid of this system. People realize that this is the system yang, it give a very bad impacts to the negative impacts to masses. Pada workers ke, kepada orang peasant ke, orang farmers ke, where this benda-benda ni owned by few people. So what they do is revolution, overthrow, kerajaan, get rid of, hapuskan monarki, kerajaan raja-raja, So abolish monarchy punya system, that kind of thing. So that what we have right now. So, tapi unfortunately, by doing that, they think that at that time, macam Karl Marx dia kan, by getting out or destroy this what we call abolish this monarchy punya system, it will give better result to the workers. But unfortunately, itu bukan berlaku. Berlaku seperti sekarang lah kan. Capitalist system, it create ada jurang between the top people, society, we have classes, organization, we have other classes, that kind of thing. Dan benda ni akan berlaku. The word revolution lah, maksudnya you tengoklah Russia, what happened to Russia, what happened to the kings and queens and the family of royal family, bukan just halau saja, they kill all those, the whole family. What happened in France, the same thing berlaku. Even UK juga berlaku. When talk about revolution, it's about tentang pembunuhan lah, bloodbath. Okay. Alright, kita habis di situ. Right, this is the last one. Criticism of Karl Marx, sama yang saya kata tadi. Marx claim that capitalism is unjust and unapproval, unprovable. Tetapi apa yang kita nampak sekarang, ada the truth of dia punya ideas tentang injustice tadi, injustice. Because looking on the how much the thing yang the west of the economy itu pergi pada siapa, the west of economy tadi pergi pada siapa? You go to the few, is not good, dia tak pergi kepada the majority. Justice require free market. Itu support of free market. Jadi kata what Karl Marx punya idea is cannot be used lah, because we are talking about justice and it must it come from free market. Kalau kita tengok tadi juga, kita belajar on justice, one of the distributive justice kita tengok, one type of justice kita tengok itu distributive justice. Kita panggil apa lagi, compensatory justice, kan? Bagi satu lagi, what is the one? Justice ada three types. Come on guys, baru kita belajar. Chapter 2. We talk about justice apa dia? Ada three types of justice. Please, now refer, look back. No, positive, you're talking about right. I'm talking about justice. Another one. Beside distributive justice, compensatory justice. Apa lagi satu lagi? Retributive justice. Rabi, betul. Retributive justice. Tapi yang kita tengok itu adalah talking about distributive justice, kan? Ada 6, ada 6 foundation, dia punya principle on that. One of that is capitalist system lah. For capitalist system, dia kata justice according to your how much you contribute, how much you contribute to the system. Kalau you contribute much, banyak, betul lah. You kalau orang kaya dia contribute much, kan? Banyak, dia punya contribution is very high contribution. So layaklah dia jadi kaya, kan? Sama juga, if you contribute little, you duduk dalam kelas yang bawah, justice lah, is just lah, adil lah. You duduk because how much you contribute, and you contribute cuma minor. So it go to that, and capital system about how much kita contribute to the system. So depend on that contribution tadi. Kalau banyak, you orang kaya dia contribute banyak. Orang middle class dia contribute sikit, kan? Kita orang bawah contribute lagi sikit. So it just adil. Itu maksud dia, kan? The benefit of private property and free market are more important than equality. Nampak, kan? Because dalam capitalist system tak ada equality, kan? Dia tak ada equality. Dia ada freedom saja, kan? Tak ada equality, tak sama. sama, dia tak ada dah classes kan. Dia tak ada society with class. Dia tak ada organization with class kan. So sekarang kita ada class. And so meaning that dalam kelas it's separate. Meaning no equality. Like what John Locke punya idea is mesti pre-market should be both kena ada freedom and equality and equality. Tapi dalam sebenarnya apa yang berlaku, equality tak ada. Because pre-market we create a system yang kita cakap ni lah, capitalist system. Capitalist system won't create the equality and tak akan wujudnya equality. Okay, free market can encourage community instead of causing alienation. Ni boleh baca lah. Immiserations of workers have not occurred. Yang back in fact to the workers tadi sebenarnya people yang against Rasmak punya idea kata tak berlaku. It didn't happen that way. Not because of free market. Instead, their condition have improved. Right? What they're telling us, workers don't become immiseration. Maknanya workers kalau dalam idea kata support capitalist system, workers dalam capitalist system dalam free market ni, in fact it give a better condition. We have got better things. Hold on. Sorry guys. Okay guys. Right. Sorry. Ada visitors. Okay, society okay. Di mana kita tadi? Alright, the way society organize workers, social classes. Ini tak ada apalah kan. Yang kita boleh baca, you boleh baca kan. Kita ada method society used to produce is good. Determines how the society organize workers. Meaning that apa yang kata the capitalist system or free market is satu sistem yang good system, right? It better organized. Kalau in the sense of workers is better organized compared with other system. And as I said yesterday, the way of society organized is workers determine social class tadi lah. And because dalam tempat kerja kita, kan, macam dia punya asas, fundamentals, foundations. Di mana masa kita kerja tadi it determine kita dekat society punya kelas nanti. And of course lah orang top management, your boss, high CEO, that kind of things, Okay, kita expect dalam society dia duduk dalam group mereka tersendiri on that class. And the top people, rich people, that kind of thing. So the organization of the workers itself yang akan determines the on society punya classes tadi. So for them, this is a good system, right? Ada separation tadi, it's a good system. A society ruling social class tadi control society, government. Ini saya cakap tadi lah. They can determine. They are so strong. They are powerful. Right? They can determine the policy of the government, how the government run, that kind of thing. So to show how powerful they are, and that is for benefits for them. That is for the benefit of the workers untuk pekerja sebenarnya. Orang bisnes bukan dia kerja seorang, dia kerja dia ada workers. What they're doing, of course, the focus dia nak kaya, tetapi kaya tadi is nothing wrong with them. Dalam kepada sistem, nothing wrong to be kaya. Klassmark punya idea different, right? And as I said, they are more socialist, and then again, at the end, more on communism. And this Klassmark punya idea. Dia cakap more on equality, freedom and equality. Bila tak dapat dalam capitalist system and free market ni, that is why Klassmark look on this system is a bad system. They lost what the equality tadi. Okay, alright, done. Dah habis. And this one tak ada apalah, immigration worker tak ada cakap tadi. The last slide is cakap tentang slide 20. Mixed economy. Ini kita cakap dah, kita kata ada itu. First slide talking about type of economy. So actually we have three, in fact I've been discussed tiga, mana ada empat. So mixed economy is an economy that retains market. Retain market maknanya market economy. Kalau cakap free market is there. And provide private property pun ada di situ, but relies heavily on government policy to remedy the deficiency. Apa kekurangan, the government will come in. And that is mixed economy. Macam sekarang, what we're having right now, mixed economy banyak yang saya kata tadi, there are economy in few countries in that very clear there are mixed economy, right? Like China, it's Europe, all this Vietnam, in fact, a lot of countries yang, as I said, used to be closed economy, tutup, close to outside, they close. China even well known, satu negara yang practice that kind of policy, they close the country. Only now they start to open up. They start to open up because they look on free market we give a better the system of free market. Jadi akan lebih, they cannot survive by doing by closing their system, the economic system. Meaning that doing business local semua. They need the help from a business is about how you be able to spread your business. How can you success if you close? You duduk berniaga macam kita lah, kalau duduk berniaga di Malaysia saja, how you going to improve of your business? How you nak spread your business? You cannot do that. So you have to open up. They are clear. They are clear. They are mixed economy of what right now China is known as mixed economy. Vietnam, Eastern Europe are mixed economy. But the question now, kita tengok pula yang so-called free market punya economy. Country yang kata yang declare we are free market, and like America. America is not only declare they are free market, free economy, they are the champions for free economy. They believe they is the best. But sekarang ni kita tengok, kalau you tengok the free what we call the characteristics of the free market, they can meet certain criteria. One of the criteria, no other party that involved, especially the government, shouldn't be involved of anything, the running of business. Tetapi, is that what happened? Actually, itu yang nyata? No. Sekarang kita tahu, America also, bila berlaku crisis, right? When, problem with the big company, the government have to come in to help them. That's why the word build out, that kind of thing, Same thing in Malaysia. Kita semua kita tahu, kita declare kita free market. Singapore claim free market, the Thailand free market, Indonesian claim they are free markets, right? But what happened if that fail? There are businesses that fail in that free market. Kalau kita cakap betul dalam konteks free market betul, shouldn't be any intervention dalam mana-mana pihak, other party, especially the government. But the truth is bukan macam tu. Sama di Malaysia, Singapura sama, Thailand sama, The government itself involved dalam business. That's why we have GLC, Government Link Company. Bukan kata tolong. Government buat business. So this is one nanti kita discuss dalam chapter 4. So I think we're done with chapter 3. I will close this one. Kita akan discuss on chapter 4. Saya rasa semua clear kot, tak ada soalan kot kita. So kita boleh proceed to chapter 4. Okay. Saya buka balik. Okay. Boleh nampak tak chapter 4? Yes or no?
Yes, Dok. Boleh nampak.
Yes.
Okay, clear Alright, good. So kita dah cakap tadi kita look on the 4 market system yang been practiced by countries all over the world. But chapter 4 ni dia fokus on satu market saja. That is market economy. In other words, talking about free market. Because why talk about free market? We're not talking about the common economy. Don't talk on mixed economy, because free market or market economy kita kata the majority of the countries practice this model. Majority 80% of the countries, nations all over the world practice this model on free market ataupun market economy. Okay, so first kita tengok sini apa dia. I think everybody know lah what is the definition of market. And yang kita kata free market it can be wet market kah, dry market kah, supermarket kah, mall kah. So actually it feel this definition. All is this yang kita mention tadi are market. Market is a forum, tempat in which people come together to exchange ownership of goods and ownership of the goods. A place where goods or services are bought and sold. Di mana kita beli, kita jual. Kita pembeli, customer, ada penjual, ada supplier. Supplier kelang ke bawa supply ke dekat paket tadi. So this is actually market. Tapi sebenarnya dah semua tahu Cuma nak highlight saja. Alright. Dalam free market, there are 3 types. Dalam free market, free market tadi, atau market system, ada 3 jenis. Satu yang call it perfectly competitive market, ataupun call perfect competition. The second one is everybody know is talking about monopoly pure monopoly. That's why nanti saya cerita kenapa guna perkataan pure, right? The third one is oligopoly. Basically, dalam free market ada 3 type of this. Di Malaysia kita ada 3 ni. You pergi mana-mana pun negara yang any country that practice so-called free market, you can see these 3 type. Okay, you can see these 3 type. And type ni lah yang akan yang kita kata tadi lah, yang kita tengok apa dia punya sumbangan dia, contributions of this each of this type of the market tadi. Kita ambil the first one, perfect competition. Apa maksud perfect competition? A free market in which no buyer or sellers has the power. The place is a market where no buyers or sellers have the power to significantly affect the price of which goods are being exchanged. Maknanya satu tempat dalam perfect competition ni di mana tak ada siapa, both side, both party. We are the customer ataupun the seller and the customer, and tak ada kuasa, tak ada kuasa untuk secara significantly to influence, dia kata, of the effect of the price of the goods tadi. Sebenarnya macam tu, it look that. Maknanya the price of the goods depend on, yang selalu kita kata depend on the market punya price. Market punya price. Market punya price maknanya it depend on dua-dua ni. In other word, kita kata apa dia? Supply and demand. Salah? Technical punya word, kita guna supply and demand. So the price of the goods tadi dalam perfectly competition depend on supply on demand. So nak clear nak cerita kat you the clear about sell and demand ni, you kena tengok dalam buku dia dalam bentuk graph lah. Dalam bentuk graph. There are a graph and that show about this supply and demand punya dalam graph curve, dia panggil curve, supply curve and demand curve, and the intersection of that point ini kita panggil equilibrium. Nanti kita go to the second slide nanti. Okay, so that is about perfect competition. Maknanya dalam perfect competition we have many businesses. Banyak yang kita nampak, generally yang kita nampak sekarang banyaknya adalah fall under this group. Yang kita nampak sekarang ni businesses yang kita deal every day ni, most of that businesses tu under this group, under the perfect competition. But kita juga ada deal dengan monopoly and juga dengan oligopoly. Tetapi majority every day namanya activity kita dalam talking about businesses, we are dealing with this group of people. Dalam mana konteks perfect competition. Okay, kita go second one. Use the word pure monopoly. What is pure monopoly? It said here, a single firm is the only seller in the market. Meaning that the whole market controlled by one seller saja. And one firm saja. And that is pure monopoly. With new seller are barred from, maknanya dia menghalang, atau ada barrier, they put a barrier. If someone to go is, they put certain way of making that you can't afford to go into the market. Kalau I'm a newcomer, right, I want to go in that market. Now this monopoly have so powerful, they can do anything, and they have the ability to put a barrier so that you won't able to go into the market. Ini dipanggil dia halang kali a new market, a new people to go in, a new seller to go in. Ini dalam konteks perkataan pure monopoly. Tapi dalam in practices, kita tak kata monopoly in the sense of one. One, dia control the whole market. Dalam in kita panggil tadi lah, dalam konteks reality, we might have few companies that share that market. Maybe kita ada 4 atau 5 company that share that market, the whole market tadi lah. But the monopoly ni kita refer to dia bukan refer to 100% of that market yang dia hold. Dia lalunya dia pegang lebih kurang 90 and above. If they hold that 90% and above of the market, right? They control 90% of above of the market. Kita boleh consider call that monopoly. Even though kita tak guna panggil pure monopoly lah, because pure monopoly refer to the single firm that control the whole market. Meaning that kalau dia control 90% of the market, meaning that another 10% control by the few tadi lah. Kan? 3 company lagi control. Share among that 10% tu share among these 3 company tadi. Meaning that itu juga kita panggil monopoly. Walaupun dia tak share the whole market, dia share tapi the majority dia control. Setengah buku kata it must the market they control must be 90 and above. 90 and above percent, then dia kita consider as a monopoly. That company we consider that is monopoly. 90% and above control the market. The rest it might be controlled by few more of the firm. Right. Okay, dalam Malaysia ada tak? Do we have monopoly? Syarikat monopoly. Do we have a monopoly here in Malaysia? Monopoly firms. Guys, in Malaysia, do we have this kind of monopoly firm? Tak respon. Ataupun tak dengar. Saya tutup. Ada, betul. Mamat, macam mana? Ada? TMB. TMB, betul tak? Are you agree that TMB is we can consider as the monopoly firm? Yes, the answer is true. Betul, right. Tetapi ada TMB the only firm that produce electricity in Malaysia, for example? TMB, what do you think? Adakah TMB the only firm syarikat yang produce electricity and sell the electricity? Ada tak lain daripada TMB in Malaysia that produce electricity? That is my question.
Ada doktor tapi tak banyak.
Tak banyak. Apa di mana jumpa ni? Di mana syarikat ni di mana? Yang produce electricity ni. Apa kita panggil mereka? Betul, jawapan you betul ni. Nak tanya you, where is di mana yang you nampak ada where you can see that there are others firm that also produce electricity. And dia jual kat siapa? To whom they sell the product? Kat siapa? The answer is true, betul, ada. Tapi banyak orang tak tahu, kata ada. Kalau kita cakap tentang electricity, people just nampak TNB. The truth is, there are more than one. Even though, as I said, the answer is TNB is monopoly. Tapi to control 100% of the markets of what we call electricity is not. There are few more. So we call it IPP lah, Independent Power Production, IPP. So you baca lah, dia ada sejarah why out of the blue adanya company that what we call doing the same business as TNB. You know how TNB start, dia history dia start from LLN, Lembaga Elektrik Negara, is a government body, right? So that is masa tu sole, memang tak ada, dia memang monopoly. Tetapi masa tu government agency. Dia government agency is not what we call private sectors lah, not a corporation. And so dia yang LLN, Lembaga Elektrik Negara, sole body that produce electricity and sell to us. Meaning that the government sell to us lah. Government through LLN sell the electricity to us. So dalam proses of corporations, right, after a few masa zaman at the time of Dr. Mahathir, and he have an idea of this giant, he can see that the benefits of few bodies, few government bodies that can generate a lot of tadilah income, that itulah bila government generate income dia kena bayar tax juga kan. Company dia dapat kaya, dia bagi tax kan. So the idea of tadilah dia jadikan this few what we call significance agency to become corporate bodies lah, corporate bodies. Not only TMB lah, telecom, that kind, that's why we have TM, that kind of things, right? And we have other, even banks, and banks also ada that owned by the government, and now it's government linked company lah, like Maybank. Maybank is actually a government owned, government linked company. Bank Islam juga ada few, kan? Bank Rakyat is the government linked company. Plantation and Guthrie, Sandra B, and they are not 100% private. That is government linked company. And Petronas also GLC, government linked company. So TMB correct, but TMB is not the sole firm entity that produce and sells what we call their electricity. So we have IPP, as I mentioned just now, as our friend mentioned just now, is true. And this IPP, the independent power plant, producer of power, they also produce electricity. And the only things, there are agreements before this IPP can be, they can come out. The business of doing a business on electricity, they have some agreement with the government. You produce electricity, but you cannot directly sell to the user, main user lah, end user kita lah. They cannot directly sell. They have to sell their product to the TMB. Just imagine, TMB have to buy from this independent power plants lah, or producer in the private power producer. They will sell their electricity to the TMB. That's why TMB actually they have a surplus, and they don't need to buy from this IPP. In fact, the truth is they can stand on their own. They have enough electricity. In their electricity boleh store, walaupun you tak nampak dia boleh store, they can store. They have enough reserve of electricity by themselves, and to supply all over Malaysia tak ada masalah. Tapi because ada satu cerita dulu, ada satu incident, at that time masa tu LLN, and that kalau you masih ingat masa tu you kecil lagi, you're still kids, then kita ada satu incident di Malaysia where kita blackout almost all over Malaysia, right? So everybody start to blame LLN, and finally people come up the idea that we cannot just depend on LLN to make sure that, because when we talk about electricity about security, safety, security, that kind of thing, right? We cannot just depend on LLN. There must be other. We have to depend also. It should be as the body or as the body that can support if something in case what happened yang masa that time ada support. So that is the result from that incident, result of having IPP lah. Even though I still remember at that time LLN is not very happy with the government decision to have a competitors. What more, right? They will sell their product to TMB. TMB have no control of that, because all it be set by the agreement. Whether they have the enough supply, they have the the storage, that kind of thing, still yet they have to buy. For nothing's like, kalau cakap dalam business punya sense, you buy something that you don't need. Macam tu ceritanya. So that is what happened. Okay, that is monopoly. Okay, the third one is oligopoly. Okay, just give me one oligopoly company in Malaysia. In a market shared by a relatively small number of large firms. In fact, in this world, monopoly is not that they're powerful, but still they are cuma sikit. only one or two that really have that kind of power, and but kalau kita compare with this oligopoly, dia ada lagi banyak big company, big company. A small number of large firm together can exercise some influence on the prices. You tengok So because it's just a few, they control the market with few companies, few big companies that control the market. So they have the ability to control the prices. They can influence the prices. And dia boleh, kita nanti cakap tentang cross on what because supply and demand tadi, no more. So they are more on they will control the supply. And in fact, they can control the supply. So we have to accept the shortage or the surplus of the products tadi, they can do that. So what is actually di Malaysia? You can name, please name one, at least, before kita stop. Okay, just satu ya. You can consider that is oligopoly company. Banyak di Malaysia. Coca-Cola is not from Malaysia. Sorry, betul, Coca-Cola dalam industri ni lah, beverage kan. Ambil lah di Malaysia, banyak. Asia, okay, dalam airlines punya industry, betul. We can consider that oligopoly because we don't have many syarikat dalam ni. Tapi yang selalu you deal lah, I pun dah jarang naik ke terbang. Buat mau agak mostly kita jarang naik ke terbang. Tapi kita guna ni selalu. Every day kita guna. And we buy from this company, oligopoly firm ni. Dalam industri apa? Yang mereka banyak. And they are so powerful. Industri apa? Tak nampak. Siapa yang hantar tadi?
Telefon.
Telefon, telecommunication lah dalam communication, telecommunication kan, IT apa semua ni kan. Dalam telecommunication information punya industry banyak. Bukan kata di Malaysia, all over the world they are so powerful dalam industri telecommunication. Dalam telecommunication. Macam di Malaysia kita ambil lah contohnya EM, Celcom, DG. They are powerful. There are many kan. Tak salah tak sampai 10. And they are big. Astro kan. So similarly satu lagi ada dalam industri electric and electronics. Ini banyakkan juga dalam this category. You pergi mana pun, di Amerika ke, di Europe ke, di Japan ke, di Korea ke, we have a very powerful company dalam kategori oligopoly tadi lah, dalam industri tadi lah, electronics, electricals, yang tadi juga lah telecommunication. Ini antara jelas. There are what we call a powerful big company, few. Some definition dia kata few tadi, some will say that 10, some books say 20, even 20 if the market is big. Saya bisa jumpa satu definition oligopoly up to 50 company consist to consider as oligopoly because this 50 is big and big company. Tetapi kita selalunya in general kita kata around few, you did not more than 20 lah, blah 10, something like that. We consider that they are big and powerful. Kita pun tahu bahawa kalau kita ambil contoh dalam telecommunication industry, they are so powerful, they can control the prices, right? Kadang-kadang harga kita tengok, oh wow, kenapa dulu murah sekarang naik, kan? So it can control by them. Dalam electronics, right? Electricity, electronic especially lah, electronics. They can control the price, they can agree among themselves, among this company. Ini yang kita cakap nanti on the issue of ethics tadi. Fix the price, yang kita belajar itu fix the price adalah illegal, juga unethical, And those the price tadi commonly come from this group of people, company lah. Kan? Kenapa dia boleh pakat? Kan? They can, kind of they have agreement about themselves. And how much for this product to sell off the product, that kind of thing. So this is yang kita tengok nanti lah. There are good thing about this type of market, and of course the negative side. Alright, saya nak berhenti di sini lah. Rupanya dalam poster ni ada juga lah sikit effects on ini. Alright, tadi saya tak ada apa, saya still manage. Okay guys, kita berhenti di sini. Okay, before that saya akan buka balik, right? Siapa ada soalan boleh tanya lagi. I'm still here. Stop sharing kita. Just remind me nanti taman kita berhenti. Okay, for those who not sempat untuk register your attendance, please do it now. And for those other questions, yes, I'm here. Sekarang pukul berapa? Elok, kita ada about 10 minutes. As I promise you, kita ada bagi masa. For those yang register, at the same time, siapa yang ada question, you can ask the question now. I'm still here. Belum balik, jangan balik lagi lah. Kalau tak ada question, baru you boleh balik. Nak makan, tak boleh lagi. Yang tak boleh makan lah, yang boleh makan, boleh makan. Okay. Any question? Report kena send by hand saja. Tak. It's better you cakap so that every nak baca tak sempat, you tulis panjang. Apa dia tadi? Apa yang tadi Erika? Yang dia cakap tadi? Yang you tulis tu apa dia? Alright. Tentang assignment. Okay. Tak apalah, cakap assignment. Since kita buat online, and saya pula, when you complete, as I said, for example, assignment number pertama 20% tu, submission bukan through, it's not soft copy, have to be hard copy, meaning that you have to send to me. Kalau yang duduk dalam Sintok tak apalah, you just drop dalam my office. Tapi kalau you yang duduk di luar, you have to send to me by post lah, courier ke whatever. Nanti saya akan bagilah, I will give you my address, you send it. Your punya tu dalam hard copy. As I said, I won't accept soft copy on your assignment. Tadi I think menjawab tu kot soalan tadi. You can, if you have friends here, ataupun some of you ada here di Sintok, and selalunya I will put a box outside my office. The box itu you can drop. You can drop that reports lah dalam box tadi. So tak ada masalah lah, macam kita 1st of June, right? So report must send before 1st of June, for example, right? So I expect that kalau you hantar 1st of June pun, by post pun, I accept. Because I kata the last date by June, the 1st June. Tak kisahlah. Maknanya I tengok receipt, you hantar on the 1st of June. Meaning that you ikut submission accordingly lah. You tak cross that due date. Tapi kalau tengok dalam, of course lah, bila you hantar even on 30th of June ke, I dapat kat kalau by post lah. Maybe I get 1 week after that. It cross 1st of June. You hantar 30 Mei lah. Tapi akan dapat nanti di 5 Mei ke 6 Mei depend on the courier nanti lah. Tak apa, don't worry. Okay, don't worry. I will look into the date of when you send that material nanti. Alright, tak apa, kita akan discuss nanti lah dekat-dekat nak sampai lagi. And I akan, as I said, I will give you my address number and my address di mana you akan hantar that assignment. As I said, it must be in the form of hard copy. Semua hard copy, except presentation saja. Presentation will be on, tadi lah, video lah. Itu yang hantar through email lah, lalunya. Through email. Itu pun we will discuss on later. Okay guys, kalau tak ada apa, kita jumpa insyaAllah next week, right? Just remind me where kita stop. And kita akan proceed dengan chapter 4 lah. Hopefully by next week kita habis chapter 4. Alright guys, Assalamualaikum. Selamat berpuasa. Hari ini isu adalah 20. 10 yang terakhir. Bermula besok adalah 10 terakhir. Artinya for those yang pasti Muslim tidak know lah the significance of the last 10 days. Okay.
Dr. can tell me manually?
Thank
Boleh
you,
apa?
Doctor.
Add manual.
Sure, tak apa. Atas 4 lah. Nama you, nama metode.